Good morning there, RV Daily Driver. Something a little bit different on this video. So this week we went to one of those mass COVID shots locations. So key as everybody knows, I take my RV everywhere. So I just wanted to point out that if you are driving your RV everywhere, there's some things you need to think about. So it was kind of a no-brainer to get the shot, but when I got here, I was pretty surprised at the fact that this location must have spent about $2 million in cones. And I'm not sure they really thought about me when they put up all these cones. But as you can see here, I'm driving down this road. Not really so sure why they used all these cones down this road. I mean, there's a line down the middle, but it's not too difficult to drive. But what you need to, the key to remember really though is the fact that the RVs are on 25 foot. So if you look at all the curbs here, you can see that they're all black and covered with other people's tire marks. This is a tight turn right here, but I made it around, and you can see how the cones are a little bit off right there. So not too big a deal. But again, they just continue to line the road with cone after cone after cone. I mean, must be millions of dollars in cones. And also, along with those cones, there's also speed bumps here. So they're pretty serious about, one, keeping you in your lane, and two, ensuring you're not going too fast. So not a huge deal in this area. Just need to remember, take the turns kind of wide. See how I'm kind of over wide to the side here to try to avoid hitting these cones. Again, these cones are a little bit off. But this is probably one of the tightest places I've ever been in with the RV. So it's definitely something to think about when you're driving the RV. So this is another tight turn, but you should be looking a little bit ahead when you're driving and thinking like, okay, hey, guess what? Probably not possible I'm gonna make it through this tent. But what's funny is if you see this lady here, right? I kind of pull the angle off because I know I'm not gonna be able to get through here, right? But look at the lady in the tent. She's kind of waving me in. Hey, come on in, let's go drive it up here, come on in the tent. That's how it works. See her again? There she waves again. So what I do is I get out, and I really try to explain to her. You can see my hand right there is like, hey, listen, there's no way I'm going to make it into the tent. It's way too tall. So this is just something you need to think about, that little bit extra step when you go somewhere that, hey, it's not impossible to use your RV. However, it could be difficult, and you got to really think ahead. Get out of the vehicle, talk to the lady, and say, hey, let me just pull off the side. What my plan is, if you look at the overall design of this location, is I'm really just going to try to avoid these giant tents they have. So, they've, again, spent bazillion dollars in cones. So I moved a couple cones. I tell this lady, hey, listen, I really need to go around this tent because I'm definitely not going to fit in this tent. She's like, okay. So she lets me go around here. And what we do is, you can see how it's designed. We actually roll up to the next tent. So this is about a 3-tent process. I'm not really sure what they do at this tent. So the first tent is kind of a check-in. This location requires an appointment. What she did also at that first tent is she put a little mark on my window that said that we were going to get the Pfizer vaccine. So we did that. We stopped at the second tent. We're already rolling away from there now. I kind of just cut that piece out. But the lady came out. She kind of went over our paperwork, asked us a couple questions. And then we proceeded around that tent to go up to the next tent, which you can see me going up to here. So we roll up to this part. And again, this is a tight one. I told my wife I thought we could make it, but I thought I'd do the smart not guy thing and get out and actually move the cone over a little bit. So we should make it through that one. So that's not too difficult. So after I move that, we then proceed down the road here. So going down here off to the right hand side, this is going to be the last tent. And what they do here is they actually give you the shot. So they give you the shot, but also you need to wait here the 15 minutes after you get the shot. So what I tried to do here is kind of really swing out of the way kind of loop it back around. That way I'm headed out the right direction. You can see right there, that's where everybody comes out of the tent. So they have some firefighters here that monitor you, these people while they're in the car, in case there is a bad reaction. I did talk to the guy. He said only been about 4 reactions. Only one person actually had to go to the hospital. So what we did is we just parked here. The wife went inside. The lady came out, gave us a shot. We waited our 15 minutes. And really just back on the road. So really a pretty painless process. And I will tell you, because we had the RV, it's kind of VIP status. So this is one of the most difficult turns out. Remember to take it extremely wide right here, because there's that curb right to the right-hand side. And I will tell you that that curb is extremely covered rubber here for donation. So again, kind of the way back out. Another, kind of tight turn, super easy for cars, but remember, driving the RV, a little bit wide, you can see the marks on the curb right there where people hit it. And this is kind of the favorite on the way out. So you really need to swing this real wide. If you look at that curb down the bottom left up there, that curb is basically painted black with people's tire marks. So remember, get it wide, cut it back in so you miss the cones. And then this area, just the exact opposite of where we actually came in at. But it's definitely tight for sure. So, there is some room. One good thing about having a Sprinter is they're actually pretty thin. So you would think like, dude, that's like a huge 25-foot RV. But the RV is really thin. It's not a wide vehicle. I mean, when you go to the store and park it up against something else, you can see that it is extremely thin vehicle. It's not definitely not very big at all. So in this shot here, I try to give you a perspective on exactly how wide it is. And you can see here as it comes down that there is some room. It may look pretty big from above, but there is definitely a little bit of room on there. So you can see, there is room to the right and left. So again, just everything, take it nice, slow, and steady. But you have to take that little bit of extra time. If you are driving the RV, is key. Like before I went here, I had no idea that this actually location would be so tight and there would be a bazillion cones here. But again, if you're using it as the RV daily driver, you got to think about where you're going, plan ahead, and again, key, don't let someone actually direct you into somewhere where you can't fit. So if you like it, hit subscribe and like, and I'll talk to you later.